everybody, it's Carrie with Seed to Spoon. A few weeks ago, I made a video all about our top 5 favorite companion plants for tomatoes. And I had a few comments from people asking about, well, what are the worst things to plant next to tomatoes? What should I avoid planting next to them? So today's video is going to be dedicated all about what to not plant next to your tomatoes. So today we're going to focus on the top 5 what not to plant next to your tomatoes. But if you ever want to see the full list of ones from our app, make sure you check it out. Under the Friends tab, if you go up there, you can go to Enemies and it will show you there like the full list of the plants in our app that you should not be planting next to your tomatoes. So make sure you check that out if you ever forget or want to reference that back again. The first plants that you want to avoid planting next to your tomatoes are going to be the group of brassicas. So this includes plants such as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. These plants are all known to be really heavy feeders, so they can really steal a lot of the nutrients out of the soil, which can inhibit your tomato growth. So it can really not do well for your tomatoes and make it so you get a really small tomato plant and not a lot of harvest off of it. So it's really important to keep these groups separate in your garden. The next plants that you need to avoid planting next to your tomatoes are potatoes. So these ones are in the same family as tomatoes. So you want to make sure that you avoid planting potatoes anywhere near them because again, they will steal a lot of the same nutrients as the tomatoes and they are susceptible to a lot of the same diseases since they're in the same family. So it's really important to make sure that they are separated and they're not touching each other too. Corn is also on this list. So if you are planning on planting corn, make sure you don't do it next to your tomatoes because they can attract a lot of the same pests. So they can attract things such as the corn earworm or the fruitworm, and then harlequin bugs and stink bugs too. So you want to make sure that you avoid putting these two anywhere near each other so that way you don't attract these pests. The next plant is going to be fennel. So this one may not be a surprise to you. I know it is one that is really a beautiful plant to add to the garden and it can attract a lot of beneficial insects to your garden, but it makes a really poor companion plant, especially for tomatoes. They secrete something in their roots which can really inhibit the growth of the vegetables around them, and this can really impact your tomatoes. So make sure that you do not put your fennel plants next to your tomatoes if you're going to be planting fennel and tomatoes. And if you are going to be growing fennel, you can put it somewhere close by so that way it brings in the beneficial insects, but make sure that it steers clear of any sort of soil touching or anything like that so that way that substance doesn't get over to your tomatoes. So for this last one, I kind of wanted to group a few together, and this is just going to include several of the vining plants or the plants that get really big and large. So these can include things like pole beans, blackberry bushes, things like that that get really large and can really shade out your tomatoes. And that can really impact your tomatoes too because they require full sun and they love the sun. And so if they don't get that full sun that they want, then they can really struggle. And typically these plants that are larger are heavy feeders. They can steal a lot of the nutrients. I do want to say if you are planting in raised beds or smart pots, one of the beauties of this is if you accidentally make a mistake, you can always just move them apart also. And that is something that we did this year too. We had planted potatoes first of all, and we had forgotten. I mean, we didn't even really think about it and planted a tomato on the other side of the trellis and their leaves started growing together. And so Dale was able just to scoot over the smart pots for the potatoes, and that way the tomato now had its own space. They weren't touching each other, so there was no risk of disease passage between them. So that is a beauty too. If you are doing raised bed gardening, you can always move the containers around, and that way you can, there's room for air, which is great. And again, make sure you check out our free app where it has the full list of all of the plants that you should both plant next to each other and the ones that you should avoid as well. And it'll just make it simple too. It'll give you a long list of good plants and the bad ones too. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. Or if you have any suggestions for our next video, please leave them in the comment section and maybe it will be the next video. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.